In the Harvard Business Review report, Managing Yourself, A Smarter Way to Network, it said that the executives who consistently rank in the top 20% of their companies in both performance and well-being have diverse but select networks made up of high-quality relationships with people who come from several different spheres and from up and down the corporate hierarchy. And yet, when it comes to networking, most people run and hide. They roll their eyes with an, "Oh no, really, do I have to?" Or they shiver at the perceived ickiness of having to go to a networking event. Everyone needs a network to support their personal and professional growth. It's time to demystify the 5 myths of networking and make networking work for you. Myth number 1. Extroverts make better networkers. No, they don't. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you can still network. You just have to do so in a way that works for you. Extroverts and introverts both bring value to conversation and connection. An introvert will generally think before they talk. They engage in deep conversation and they focus one-on-one. They're very thoughtful in their follow-up. An extrovert will generally jump right in, introduce themselves to everyone, engaging in light banter and socializing with many, and they find follow-up fun. The key is to embrace your natural style and work to your strengths. If you err on the introversion, you're likely to be more energized in a small group setting or in a quieter location where you can engage in deeper, more thoughtful conversation. An extrovert, on the other hand, will love the larger networking events where there is a lot of going on, where they're being inspired by the collective energy of the crowd and the noise. There's no right or wrong, better or worse. Both introverts and extroverts can make incredible networkers. Myth number 2, it's a numbers game. Rubbish! It's not about quantity, it's about the quality of the connections you have. There are clients I know that have massive databases of people and digital connections, and yet they don't really know anyone. And there are others at the other end of the spectrum that have a handful of quality connections that are so transformational, it's insane. What matters more is the investment of time, energy and commitment with the right people, those who will guide and mentor you, and who will cheer you on, people who will shape your future. Myth number 3, the bigger the networking event, the more opportunity to network. No! Too many people think that there's a direct correlation between the size of the event and the contacts and business cards that we have access to. Most events are not worth the time or money, as you're unlikely to make useful contacts because most events of this size are a melting pot of people from different professions and with different objectives for attending. I personally host private, closed-door networking dinners around the country for no more than 15-16 business owners and senior leaders. And these small, closed-door dinners create a forum for people cross-industry and cross-functional to share what they're currently working on and to ask in the safety of the room for the help they need. The depth of conversation, the support and value exchange generated, as well as new connections made, generates a significant return on the time spent. Myth number 4, I'm not interesting enough to network. Well, in his book, Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell proposed that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to achieve mastery in a field. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with Gladwell's theory. The point is this: every one of us is an expert in something, because whether we realize it or not, we have built up time and hours perfecting our expertise. Start standing for something and start sharing what you know. And myth number 5, networking takes a lot of time and I don't have the time. No, it doesn't. Sure, if you're out to a networking event night after night, spending endless hours on LinkedIn and finding it hard to get to know the hundreds of contacts that you have, you may have a valid point, but you're doing it all wrong. You see, networking starts with a small group of people where you can exchange value continuously, sharing what is required to drive mutual success. In my latest best-selling book, It's Who You Know, I share the concept of a personal network starting with 4 key people and ultimately building that to 12 that will fast-track your success. These numbers are much easier to manage in terms of the time needed to build and elevate relationships, to create your own marketing machine, to build your intelligence bank, to ensure you have a board of advisors. And guess what? You'll enjoy spending time with these people due to the insights shared. Networking doesn't have to be hard work. It's the worth of your network that is built through thoughtful and considered connection. So which myth are you listening to and believing that you could bust this week? Do you believe that extroverts make better networkers? Do you think it's a numbers game? Do you believe that large events matter? Do you think that you're not interesting enough? Or do you believe that it takes far too much time to surround yourself with awesome connections that will guarantee your success? Whichever the myth, I suggest you go and bust it and get out there and start connecting.